immediately tweeted about it, and the author has started replying to my messages.
Wait, what's that one about?
It's sort of based around the idea of one of those garbage alien hunter TV shows with all like the bad home shot footage and like, oh, they're aliens abducting our cows.
Oh,
But
okay, yeah.
it's all centered around a video footage from Kansas from about 30 years ago, which was obviously Superman arriving, and really, really trippy, interesting story. Like, it's hard to keep track of what's happening during part of it. It's like reading an acid trip.
Well, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. But the author of it, after I put on Twitter about it, I realised, oh shit, this guy wrote a few episodes of Superboy as well. So I was immediately started chatting to him about that. So
Someone talk about Superboy. I must talk to them.
it is weird though. He did the only two episodes of Superboy to acknowledge the existence of Lena Luthor, and now Supergirl's out and Lena Luthor's back. So it's
That's true. Yeah. Huh. I don't know. It's been kind of like a weird week, man. Like it's like there's news, but there's like, is any of this news worthy? Like it's.
Have you read the Justice League spoilers?
Yeah. We're gonna talk about those. That'll be the third topic at hand here.
I mean, at least it sounds okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm halfway through reading them, so I may need to just
Yeah.
quickly catch up.
Well, have you seen the Fellowship of the Ring?
Well, yeah.
Have you seen
It was shit.
Have you seen Justice League War?
I have seen Justice League.
Have you seen the Avengers?
I have seen the Avengers.
Then you know what happens.
Shit.
Well, do we want to make that the first topic of the podcast then?
If you
It,
want.
if you give me 2 seconds just to quickly finish reading.
All right, you keep reading that. This is how we do the show. We're not structured or nothing. We're not professional.
I kind of stopped reading once it was like, oh, it goes from one scene and then the Flash runs in and says, hey, what about that fish guy? Then we flash back again. It's like, man,
So-
the structure of this thing sounds so fucked.
Right. So here's what we're talking about. A big old plot leak made its way onto the internet, but as always, you always take these things with a grain of salt. But as always, I got to preface it with, we've gotten quite a few that were spot on to exactly everything that happens. And actually, there was quite a few leaks, like a year and a half before BVS, that were almost the entire movie. Like, you go back, look at the show, they had everything but two things down, which is like kind of crazy, you know? So, essentially, the Justice League plot leaks, it talks a lot of stuff. Like, this guy says he worked on the movie, but he wasn't there for all of it. He was only there for, like, some of the UK shooting and things like that. And he kind of goes on in detail on what happens in it, talking about, you know, the stuff we've seen already mentioned, which is obviously the Flash and Cyborg meeting on top of the, you know, GCPD and everything. But he goes on in detail, talks about Superman, how he comes back, how he gets the black suit. And honestly, you read this, and this doesn't sound like crazy fan fiction. It sounds like, yeah, this is probably what it is. Like, it logically makes sense.
The only issue I have with it is he says he appears at first and his suit's all torn up and stuff, which is obviously, it's the suit he was killed in, I'm imagining. But at the same time, and then he says he switches to the black suit and makes no more mention about him getting the coloured suit back. But we've seen in behind-the-scenes footage him walking around in a suit that's clean, that's pristine, there's nothing wrong with it.
Exactly.
So we know he gets the colour suit back at some point.
Well, he does say that he didn't see every single part of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining. Maybe the one shot we saw of Superman back in the colours is the last scene of the movie.
Guaranteed
I
after
put that
credits.
past him, yeah. The last scene of the film, he gets his colours back.
Well, it could also be one of those things, you know, where it's like, obviously they're shooting a ton, and there's a lot to shoot, and there's so much that's going into it. And obviously, like they say even in this, like at the end of the movie, you know, there's an entire thing where we see the characters all go off on their own, and Superman is, you know, he gets married to Lois and everything, and it's like, okay, but
He gets married by the blind priest from Man of Steel, so I think that's pretty cool that they got the priest in all three now, if that's true. Because like he also did Clark's funeral, which is really weird. Like this one priest has been involved in Superman's life like multiple times. It's crazy.
So, I don't know. I'm like apprehensive to say that I think it's all real, but reading through it, which I did, a lot of it just lines up with everything. You know, like the way Batman is, the way Flash is being presented. Of course, there's even a mention of Martian Manhunter, which I would assume after the huge success on Supergirl, they're probably going to use Martian Manhunter. So
They're
I could
doing
see
it
that.
basically the same way. They're having a military professional who's also a black guy, come out at the end of the thing and suddenly reveal, "I am John Jones," and he transforms in front of someone. It's basically they've ripped the exact same scene from Supergirl.
Right.
This time it's
people were already speculating that dude was going to be Martian Manhunter anyway. So,
I mean, it wouldn't be the first scene they've ripped from someone else for that plot leak anyway. So.
Yeah, and if they're going to rip scenes from anywhere, Supergirl's a good way to go because they're doing a lot of stuff right.
Yeah. Oh God, it's crazy to think to say that about Supergirl, but
it is. But it's getting so good,
uh-huh.
and I don't even care that Superman's not in the rest of the season. Well, they said they might bring him back.
Right.
Now, they've set it off to such a good start.
Obviously, while you read this, they never reveal Darkseid, but they say he's constantly covered in shadow, and it's like Steppenwolf is, his brother, and like he's there, and like he's the president. But then it's like, well,
all I'm picturing is the shape of Galactus in the giant cloud in Fantastic Four 2. Just imagine you keep seeing the silhouette of Darkseid in the dust cloud.
See, all I'm picturing is like, oh look, there he is, but it's gonna be like the Thanos thing where his throne is turned around and he's like, oh, I can't. But it's like, even if this script isn't real, if that's how they present Darkseid, the comparison is going to be made automatically. Like it doesn't matter what you do,
It's a big bad. It's going to be made.
Yeah.
Regardless, they look the same. Like, let's face it. Like, people are going to go.
Oh, just a copy of the other.
Yeah. So, like, they're going to go, oh, Darkseid copied Thanos.
Yeah. Wasn't there a story as well that the guy that made Darkseid and the guy that made Thanos, they were both like roommates or something, and one wrote it and the other one ripped it off, and they went to separate companies. I love that story.
Yeah, then Marvel were like, we want Darkseid, but not Darkseid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they hired the guy's roommate to do basically the exact same thing.
Which obviously you could see that now. Obviously, Justice League is out around 6 months before Avengers Infinity War Part 1. So I feel like it's going to be this little weird thing where, when you read this, like Mitch said, do you like, all these different 3 properties, you literally mash those up into one. Like, it feels like Avengers, but it feels like it's a DCEU. And it's like, well, at this point, is that enough? Like, is that enough for fans to...
if this is real, I do finally see why they haven't fired Zack Snyder outright, because this is so just action intense and there's just so many elements at play here that it's going to be pretty difficult for him to completely fuck it up. Like, it's basically, they've hired him to shoot a load of action scenes, because that's all this seems to be. Yeah, there's no real depth to it.
It is very much a and then.
Yeah, there's no this happens, therefore this happens. It's all this happens and then this happens and then this happens. There's no tie between any of it, which is a little bit irritating, but it's going to be difficult for Snyder to fuck up a storyline this simple, because it's not difficult to understand this one particularly. It's a bit convoluted, but it's not difficult to follow.
Well, that's another thing. It's like, how do you go into this? Because all eyes are on you now after 3 movies, right? It depends on how Wonder Woman turns out. He's
just going to make it generic. He's just going to be in Brett Ratner mode.
Well, to be fair, that's what they did with Avengers, wasn't it, really? Like,
yeah.
Let's just make a generic story and play it safe.
And it worked.
For the first one. Yeah, it worked.
I'm not going to lie. I love The Avengers, and that is the movie that changed Hollywood, for better or for worse, but that movie is pretty generic. What worked about it was the fact that they had all these movies build up to it, so that it made sense, so they didn't need all this backstory. But my worry, once again, is you're tossing a lot of shit in here. Like, the people aren't going to understand Steppenwolf, especially because you deleted the one scene that had him. So,
yeah.
Well, they put it back. Ultimate Cut is canon.
Yeah, but how many people watched that? Like, the general audience. How many people
I know people that saw BVS in cinema that still refuse to watch it, the Ultimate Cut. Like, they won't watch it again because they're just no, I've seen it. I don't care if it's an improvement. I'm not watching that shit again.
Oh, I know plenty of people saying that too. Yeah. Oh, it's a difficult, man.
I would have paid to see a 3.5-hour film in cinema if it was good.
So are you going to pay to see Avatar 2?
I probably will go see Avatar 2, to be honest. Just to see where the technology's going.
I'm just going to tell my local theater I'll dip myself in blue paint. Just let me see it for free.
Just go down with a bunch of, Genius Waters and all the hipster snacks and all that, and just go down and save the planet. See if we can find Don Cheadle for the Captain Planet thing.
Oh, God. Reading this Justice League thing, are you guys... how do you feel about it generalized? Like, I'm not like against it, but I'm also like, well,
it's exactly what I expected it to be.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really judge it that much because, as the guy says, it's not complete.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Plus, as well, we all only seem to be getting stuff about the action scenes, and the guy has refused to say what his job actually is, but the fact it's all the action scenes and none of the dramatic stuff, it seems, if there is dramatic stuff in the movie, then I'm guessing he was only involved in scenes that required a lot of visual effects. So there could be, if there's sitting down discussion scenes, like in Civil War, when you have them sitting around in the apartment and you've got a Vision wearing a jumper and all that, if there's scenes like that, you might not actually hit. These are the ones he wouldn't know about. So that's all that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how I see it. So I guess we'll just end the discussion on that, and we'll be back with more. If another trailer comes out and it seems to lend credence to a lot of this, then we'll refer back to this.
I just like that the opening with like the Viking type people that we've seen in the we've already seen the footage of them burying the mother box anyway. But I just love how that's basically the same opening as the original deleted opening for the Mask movie in the mid '90s. That opened with the Vikings burying the mask.
I swear to God, it's not a month in a podcast unless Tom gets to mention the Mask. It's really not.
This time, it actually, when I was like seeing that clip in the thing, it looks like if you get the comic book adaptation of the original Mask movie, they still have that scene as the opening of the comic book, and it's amazing. Almost side by side, it looks tonally very, very similar. I just thought that was kind of fun. So, see, we read comics, guys.
It's true, but we're gonna go from one Superman and Justice League to another, guys, because let's talk about it, because recently, with all the hype and love to the CW Superman, Andrew Kreisberg and Berlanti and everybody was asked about, hey, could we possibly see a Superman TV series? And they pretty much said, we're lucky that they even let us use Superman for 2 episodes. We asked for 1, and they said, you can have 2, so...
Yeah. They said it's a possibility, but it's not their focus, so don't hold your breath.
Yeah. I say, plus it's been, only 6 years since Smallville finished? You don't need another one this soon.
I don't know. I think we can deal with just having Supergirl if Superman shows up 3-4 times a series. That's fine.
Yeah.
Although I would still love a Superman TV series because Smallville wasn't really a Superman TV series. He was Superman for about 45 seconds at the end of the final episode.
I suppose.
He was a hero before that, but he wasn't Superman, if you know what I mean.
I think Smallville defined what it means to be Superman without the suit. It's like the suit doesn't make the character, so I think that's what they did well. But it's like, when I think about a Superman TV series, I think Warner Brothers would be opposed to doing it, especially after all the praise that Tyler is getting. And then you look at the movie side and every single person's like, this Superman's terrible. Like every critic that hates the movies is like, this Superman, can he smile? Then you look at the CW and every single person who hates the movie version is in love with what they're doing on, I don't think they would want to take away focus,
If they were smart, they'd say, oh, we've got this Superman that everybody hates and this one that everybody loves. Let's support the one that everybody loves. This might make us money in the long run.
Oh, I
want an action figure of the Tyler Hoechlin Superman. That would be great.
Like if you look at the leak for Justice League, it does seem like they've turned Cavill Superman around.
Oh, yeah. No. His suit's brighter. He's smiling. He's smiling. That's all we care about is he's smiling.
Well,
who would have thought it's such a fundamental thing that Superman needs to smile? But it is.
It's like we'd all be complaining if Batman was smiling all the time. You know why? Because Batman doesn't smile. Like, that's, it's a core to character that he's like,
that moment in Batman Forever when Chase Meridian turns down Batman because she likes Bruce Wayne and he smiles outside the window, that is still one of my favourite moments in a comic book movie.
That Val Kilmer smile, though. Gold.
Just the way his face ripples under the mask because the mask doesn't move. So he gets about 3 lines like he's got double chins when he does it. Perfect scene in an almost perfect movie.
Mm-hmm. So let's say hypothetically they were to, I guess, make a Superman TV series and like start it next year on CW. What would you want to see out of it? Like, would you want to see build up to the years he's already been here? Like leading up to Supergirl, or would you want to see like a post?
Well, you're kind of retreading Smallville if you do a prequel.
Yeah, just continue it where it is.
Yeah, That's
Just
true.
that way you can have them team up and do crossover episodes between the two as well, and then you don't have to keep focusing on how we're going to get Supergirl to the Flashverse or the Arrowverse.
The thing is, though, could you do both Supergirl and Superman
Of course. Yeah, I don't
it'll be the same thing.
True.
Not
Like,
really. They come at it from different directions.
They're
different
using
methods.
Superman stories in Supergirl.
That is true, yeah. That's...
Like, it's the same.
Maybe it would make them buck up their ideas with Supergirl a little bit more and come up with more original stories and some new villains and stuff, which I wouldn't be against. But I do see what you're saying. That is, yeah, it's a good point.
I just think it's too much cheese together. Like, it'll
Yeah.
work with like a couple of episodes, but like 2 series simultaneously.
That's
yeah, as long as he
true.
comes back on this show, I'm fine with it. Maybe CW can get into the business of making straight-to-TV movies like Sci-Fi does, and they can make like a Superman movie every couple of years.
God, I've been wishing for that for so long.
See, that is the dream, because then you could get a Flash movie, an Arrow movie, and all that, and if they know they've got to fit it to an hour-and-a-half format, like, they're just going to make the best episode ever. If they get like half a season's budget for one episode, they're going to make something amazing.
That's true. Oh, that would be gold. I mean, in my heart, like, I want another Superman TV series because my entire life I've had a Superman TV series every decade to watch. But at the same time, I'm like Mitch said, it could retread some ground, which is like, I mean, here's the thing. In an ideal world, give me a Superman TV series every year in the summer as a mid-season replacement. Like 6 episodes done, and I'll be like, hell yeah, this is fucking gold, you know?
That would be great. Yeah, just have 6 episode seasons, like, yeah.
Like little tiny, condensed, a coherent story, no filler, you know, a good Superman story. It's like done. And it's like during that time when summer now is a prime time to debut a good TV series, and a lot of networks are picking up on that. It's like, fine, you wrapped up the other 4 CW shows you have. Here's a mini Superman series every year. It's like that would be enough to offset people, you know, for a couple of weeks while the other series are shooting. So
the only problem is they would basically greenlight it as a mini series and say, right, you've got 6 episodes, and then once they start doing it, they'd be like, this is too expensive, let's expand it to 20 episodes, just like Legends of Tomorrow. And then it will get a second season, and the show will just become convoluted as fuck.
So Superman, at the end of this episode, he finds someone dead. But the next 3 episodes, he's just going to scowl around on the farm for no reason because we got to fill 3 episodes worth of budget, just like Legends of Tomorrow.
He'll just travel through time, somehow failing to kill the villain. Even though everybody watching can come up with like 4 ways that Vandal Savage could have been killed each episode.
They're like, okay, we got to stop by the 40s this time. Now we got to stop by the 20s. I'm like, you know what? What is it?
At some point, Vandal, I know he's sort of like an ageless being and he's been around fucking forever. At some point, he was a baby.
Right.
Yeah.
So do the baby Hitler thing. Go back and kill baby Vandal Savage. Like, how much protection can he have in ancient Egypt?
Well, if you're like Kang, you got like, what's the word? Fuck. Like trap sort of thing. Like safeguards in place around your baby self.
Or if you're like Apocalypse, you have a giant pyramid made out of CG.
People always say you couldn't go back and assassinate Hitler because don't you think people at the time were trying? Like, he was surrounded by an army and bodyguards and people willing to die to protect him.
Tom Cruise tried and he failed.
Savage isn't going to have that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's 1,000 ways they could have taken care of it. There were episodes where they had the shot to do it and they chose not to for some bizarre reason, just so they could complain about it the following week.
Well, they had to drag it out, didn't they?
Of course,
let's not shoot him now.
It was extended from 8 episodes to 20. Like,
well, there's actually like 3 times during Legends of Tomorrow where Rip Hunter is literally holding a gun to his face, and then he gives a speech until conveniently his gun is like kicked out of his hand. I'm like, you motherfucker, just shoot him in the head.
Got caught monologuing.
Oh, CW tropes. Now, guys, since we're on the roll of talking about, you know, everything that's happening in all these multiverses, let's jump over to Thor Ragnarok, where the director of the movie said that he's pretty much ignoring everything Thor 1, 2, and the MCU has done. And this has set people on fire. And I'm just like, hey, guys.
It's possible with Odin's tramp and...
here's the thing.
He's really acknowledging the previous...
Here's how I define this. James Gunn said the same thing. Just read what he said. He's making a movie that is largely standalone, and it's just the aim of the movie is to be a great movie. he's not paying attention to being like, okay, now this stone has to be here and this has to be here and we got to have this Easter egg. They're not doing that because that's what makes a good movie. And that was the fault of the Thor movies so far and Iron Man 2. So I think what he's saying is literally just like, listen, I'm ignoring it because that's not what's important for the final Thor movie. The important part is we make a good fucking movie finally, right?
Yeah. He doesn't want to get bogged down with everything. He's figuratively ignoring everything. He's not literally ignoring everything.
It's like he's not just gonna be like, yeah, Loki, he's always been a good guy. The MCU doesn't exist. Hulk is our own interpretation. Like that's not what he's saying. That's like what people are taking it as. I'm like, no, guys, that's first off, Marvel would have fired his ass so fast. You know, like it wouldn't even be up for discussion.
It would make sense even from a business standpoint to make it completely standalone.
Right.
So people have got to know this isn't the case. It's kind of ridiculous.
I mean,
in a way.
Edgar Wright tried to make Ant-Man. Like Edgar Wright was literally like, "Hey, I'm making this standalone." They were like, "Sure, the fuck you are." Boot door done. You know,
well,
like
it even came out as a standalone. Like that has one tie to the MCU as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically just the Falcon fight.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm still excited by Thor Ragnarok. I mean, I'm being really optimistic about it because it just sounds so different, you know?
Well, luckily that quote leak or rumor a couple of weeks back was debunked by James Gunn. So
because didn't the dudes that sourced it, who was the site that said they had the scoop?
Schmoes now.
Right, didn't James Gunn like completely? Yep. Yeah, he could. Oh, I remember that. That was brutal.
Just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I like the director though. Have you guys had the chance to see Hunt for the Wilder People yet?
No,
so fucking good. It's so good. You need to watch it ASAP. And What We Do in the Shadows as well, which is on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's both so good films. Very different in tone to each other, but you can see why he's been hired by Marvel.
Sweet. So I've heard people rave about those two films. It's just kind of like just got to get around.
Sam Neill though. Watching Hunt for the Wilder People, he's not even playing a character that's that similar, but after watching that film, I want Sam Neill to play Jonathan Kent in a Superman project because he was just perfect. After seeing that film, I want it was Jonathan Kent with a New Zealand accent. I don't even care.
Man, I mean, well, isn't Sam Neill's also in Thor Ragnarok? So
yep.
He is.
He's probably going to be one of the elders.
The fat kid probably is as well. I can call him that because they spend half the film referring to him as fat kid.
Oh, you got to be PC, bro.
He's awesome though. That kid he's going places. He's a fantastic actor. I will say that.
So, I don't know. I guess kind of summarize it at the end. Thor Ragnarok. I'm real goddamn optimistic about this movie. Like, I want this to be the Thor movie that when you look back at Phase 3, you're like, yeah, Thor's in my top 3 because no one said that about either phase so far. So,
no,
you know,
although Thor 1, I still maintain is a really good movie.
It is.
It's the perfect Thor introduction movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't get nearly the credit it deserves.
And
it's
I mean,
not a perfect movie. You can cut out all the Natalie Portman and Kat Denning stuff, and it still works, kind of.
Yeah, and for as cheap of a budget as they had to work with it, I think they made the best choices they could to get that movie out there. You know, so.
I still like the design of the main. You know the I can't even remember what it's called because I don't really.
The
read
Destroyer.
The Destroyer, yeah. I just love the way that it
straight
moved.
from the book.
Yeah.
It was so cool, so cool. I don't read Thor books though. I'm not really a Marvel guy in terms of comics, more DC.
Mm-hmm.
Opposite of in the movies.
Right. Yeah. So Thor Ragnarok. Hopefully, you know, it's a good movie. Hopefully, they do choose to ignore a bunch of the MCU, not force feed it with Easter eggs, and just get the necessary ones that are there, like Thor being like, "Hey, who's Purple Face? Why is he after all these gems?"
If that scene was actually made canon, like that's just the intro to the movie, I would just love it.
They should do that as like one of, you know how Pixar movies do like a 5-minute things before them? They should use that as an actual thing before the Marvel logo.
UVS showed before 2 adverts for a plane company.
That's true.
Turkish Airlines.
No, that was just part of the movie.
Well, the Dodge commercial wasn't it?
Or that showed as well. I forgot. Yeah, they don't do special short things at the beginning of movies now. They just show commercials pretending to be short films.
Oh, Hollywood! What
Bruce
the fuck?
Wayne really would take part in an airline commercial for Turkish Airlines.
Wouldn't he have like Wayne Airlines at that point?
Surely he would. Even Lex Luthor surely has his own airline.
Right, it's like, why are you paying to be sitting in coach? What the fuck you doing? Amazing.
But it makes it more grounded.
But Turkish Airlines, guys, has this saying, "Expand your world," and that's all. That's really what Zack Snyder was thinking about while making BVS. So it was perfect that he got that company to help sponsor,
because it's such a cinematic influence.
It means so much. Expand your world, man. It's deep.
The score right now is going up already. It's just shooting through the roof. And speaking of being smart, let's talk about the Sony, Marvel deal that happened. So, interesting stuff. Tom Holland's saying he doesn't know if Spidey is going to be in Infinity War due to pretty much negotiations and contracts.
Oh, he will be. They're playing hardball, but there's no way they're going to let Spider-Man not be.
I was going to say, they said the same thing about Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
But even if Sony is holding back and saying, "Oh, we're not sure about it," the chance of, if they put Spider-Man in Civil War, Sony gets a cut of the profits from Civil War. If they don't, Sony gets fuck all from this giant movie that they've been building for 3 phases.
Let's let's look at this from a logical point of view, right? If you are Sony and you suddenly go, "Hey, Marvel, thanks for all your help, but guess what? We're not letting you have Spidey. We're going to go do our own franchise." You know how much that will hurt the Marvel Cinematic Universe, considering if they come out and they go, "Oh yeah, we're doing Sinister Six and Venom and Aunt May movie again, and she's a super agent, and it's all now part of the MCU." I think there's cause for lawsuits there. So I definitely think there's a deal, and I guarantee you this is the deal. Yes, he's going to be in it, but Sony's going, "Okay, we want Captain America in the next Spider-Man movie." So it's probably that's what's up,
Yeah.
The thing that worries me, though, they said that it was Marvel making the decisions, and it's just Sony's money, and that was a big part of what this deal's all about. Marvel in control. Doesn't sound like they're particularly in control at the moment. So now I'm a little bit worried about Homecoming.
Well, here's the thing: Sony didn't get anything from Civil War. All that money went to Marvel. I reckon they're waiting to see how Homecoming goes.
Yeah.
It's just a technicality, kind of we did good, we got money, fine, sign off on the contracts. It's just a holdover. There's nothing no, we're going to keep him back.
They're not pulling a DC and greenlighting 4 sequels before the first one's out.
Like they did with Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they announced 2, 3, 4, 3 spin-off movies, and who the fuck knows what else. It's Jesus Christ, guys.
You guys weren't excited for Agent May? You guys weren't excited for that? It's Sally Fields as a secret agent, guys.
I would watch that, to be honest.
It probably would have been better in the long run than half the other ideas they had.
Yeah.
Aunt May, your mission today is to get the eggs.
Just remember, I had the entire Sinister Six scoop, which other people verified was fact, and Carnage was just the carnage of man that drove a dude insane. Who the fuck wrote this shit? What were you thinking?
It fit with everything else they were doing. So
it fit with everything dumb that we're doing.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's insane that the video game tie-ins for Amazing Spider-Man were actually better than the movies.
Yeah.
That just shouldn't happen. That should be.
That first Amazing Spider-Man game is still one of my favorite superhero games. It's really good.
It's really fun, but I do prefer the web swinging mechanic from the second one, just because the web's attached to buildings.
Now, here's the thing I want to kind of bring up with this Avengers Infinity War. He doesn't know if he's going to be in it. They start shooting this movie in less than a month. So, do you think if Sony is waiting for Homecoming, that he's potentially not going to be in the first one, but he'll be in the sequel?
I think he'll be at the end of the first one.
Yeah, I was going to say, because if you look at Civil War, he only got announced just right as they were finishing shooting. And if you look at Infinity War, Carol Danvers is going to be in it, but she's not going to be in it a lot because her movie's an origin.
Yeah.
So she's got a small part, so they can kind of wrap her on from the main part of Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then add him in later on.
Maybe it would just be a similar size role to what he had in Civil War, like you said. Yeah. Like Black Panther was as well.
I'd say, he doesn't need a massive role in Infinity War.
That's honestly the type of roles I want him in,
Plus, hasn't Stark been criticised for bringing a kid to the battlefield, basically? So maybe he's holding off, no, this is too big. Spider-Man can't handle this. He's not ready yet. But by the end of the film, it's fuck it, we need Spider-Man, because we're dying out here. Which would be pretty cool if, they're putting off, calling Pete. But then at the end, it's
literally, the Avengers are getting fucked, and Tony's like, listen, I know 6 people in New York, minus the guy with the skull. Fuck that guy. What's he gonna do?
Well, they are teasing now, aren't they? To be honest.
Yeah.
I still say Jessica Jones could do something. She's fucking strong. Like she could still. Her and Luke Cage, especially, they could hold their own.
No, not if it gets.
Compared to Hawkeye, who can just fire arrows, they're.
Yeah, but it's no. At least Hawkeye can hang back. Like they've got to get in close, so they wouldn't do anything.
Nah, Jessica Jones would hang back.
Honestly, the only one I could
doesn't want to get involved unless she has to.
I could see Luke Cage and maybe somewhat Daredevil, but the other characters, I'm like, please keep them away because they would be fucking destroyed.
Well, Iron Fist is the only defender that could actually do something.
Okay, true. Well, oh yeah, because he will be out by then. True. So Iron Fist, yeah.
I mean, if there is a street level threat and a big threat in Infinity War, like they need people taking care of the smaller, like the Chitauri. Say they're fighting the giant. They're fighting Thanos and his main army, and they just sent a bunch of Chitauri down to Earth. It would be really fun just to have Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist just fighting the ground units. Like it's not really helping the overall battle or the war, but that they're saving lives, which would be great to see.
Who do you guys think is going to be the cannon fodder for Infinity War?
Agent Coulson.
I
again.
don't know.
They'll bring Coulson back and then kill him for real.
Oh,
The exact same way. He'll be stabbed with Loki's staff again. Which for some reason they have back.
I mean, I don't even know who the hell you use as a main villain, like the army, you know? It's like you can't use the Chitauri again.
I don't think you need one, to be honest.
No.
Huh.
I think the threat of Thanos is...
Do you think just Thanos in the middle of Times Square fucking destroying shit?
Yeah.
That
Why not?
Oh.
Unless they do the Black Order, and then you have like 4 or 5 like generals.
I would guess we'll see the Chitauri again.
Oh.
I mean, I can't imagine that he wouldn't use them again, just to weaken us up, soften us up a bit before he comes along to deliver the killing blow.
Like you could do and then set up Secret Invasion.
That would be cool. Yeah, they think they're the Chitauri, but at the end, one of them's face transforms and turns green, and it's like, we are the Skrulls.
Well, Chitauri are Skrulls, so.
Yeah, but they can actually say the name and not get sued.
Well, they can say the name anyway.
Can they?
They co-own the Skrulls. They
I
just
thought
can't.
that's the whole thing.
No, they can use the Skrulls. They can't use Super Skrull.
Yeah. It's weird.
I thought it was because they were tied to Fantastic Four so much.
Well, it is, but like, I think because the Chitauri's the ultimate Skrulls,
You know,
it's weird.
Like, what I would honestly want, and this is the one thing I want, save Thanos for the end of Infinity War and Part 2, but have the first one use, like, one of the giant Celestials that we see in Guardians or something. Like, have him show up in New York, like, dude, holy shit, like, what do we have that could take down a skyscraper, the robot thing, you know? Like, I think that'd be pretty amazing.
What if that?
Just imagine the Celestial's face poking down through the clouds, looking down at Earth, and it just looks like the moon from Majora's Mask.
Like, what if that's what they do? Like, because the Avengers movies are going to be so different. Thanos is just contained to the first one, and because of all the Infinity Gems, it brings the Celestials, and you have the Celestial invasion.
Oh my god.
And then it's just kind of like, we can do what the fuck we want now.
That would be the most mind-blowing, amazing thing, and like them being like, this is how you do Galactus the right way, you know?
You just have a Galactus-shaped one. It's just kind of like, he's there.
Call him Gallic.
Galactus. Or, what was the ultimate one? Galactus.
That would be quite amazing.
It's 3 words, not 1.
I mean, I'm real hyped for Infinity War. I think that's, out of all the big team-up movies, I think that's the one I'm most excited for, because we're finally going to see everything we want, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So any closing thoughts? Because this is all we have this news and, you know, this week for news. And, yep.
I hope that when he says everybody's going to be in it, I hope he means everybody.
Everyone's not going to be in it.
I want Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to end, like, this show, and just, like, come into this, have them appear in one last movie, and then it's just like, you just imagine they've gone off to continue doing their thing, but it'd be nice if it starts and ends in the actual movie universe.
That's true.
Yeah.
I especially want to see, like, Coulson at least one more time with the Avengers,
Well,
because
S.H.I.E.L.D.
him
is
being
now,
alive
like,
would be amazing, like, to see their reaction.
I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. is back in the public eye, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it'd be awesome to see, like, all of the Avengers together, and it's like, wait, you're alive? We formed because of your death, man. Why have we still been doing this? Fuck humanity.
Yeah.
We did it for Coulson.
Well, I guess that's going to wrap up this week's podcast. Sorry it's only 4 topics, but we want to make it a quicker show and other stuff to do, and, you know, still kind of sick, so, you know.
I've been muting constantly during this show just to cough.
And also, I got the Pokermans to play.
Yup.
Gotta get that damn Greninja. God damn it.
You get it right at the start anyway.
Oh, good.
You just turn it on and it's here you go.
Did they say how to transfer them, or do you just gotta hang on to the demo?
You have to finish the demo and then talk to the professor.
Okay, I'll do that. Well, thanks for joining us for our podcast, everybody. Make sure you go and follow all us on Twitter, Facebook, all that junk we do, and whatever the hell else. Yep. Later.
Cool.